I love you, Atlanta. I'm your host, Jay Lewis. You're listening to ATL Now on Next 100, Next 105, where we talk all things Atlanta from politics, local news, sports, entertainment, business, and community. It's a beautiful day today. A bit of traffic out there on 75, 85 North coming this way, so please be careful. Georgia, or especially Atlanta, doesn't need any help from a car accident to further slow down traffic. However, I would like to say I'm hoping that nobody was seriously hurt and that everybody makes it home safely. Absolutely. We got a great show for you today. I'm feeling pretty good this evening. I hope the same for you. Been doing more cooking during this pandemic because I've been home more. And I made some taco soup, which eats like a chili. I add cornbread to it. And you can also eat it with some tortilla chips. It goes down pretty smooth. It warms your body. And I couple that with some chamomile tea right before bedtime. It helps me get some pretty good rest. So I just wanted to share with you what I had for dinner last night, for those of you that cared. But yeah, go to the IBNX Facebook page and find the ATL Now show and leave us a comment. Let me know what you've been cooking during this pandemic. But back to politics and local news. Coronavirus. The coronavirus doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. Here in Georgia, here in Atlanta, and around the world. Actually, Georgia is back in the coronavirus red zone in the latest White House reports. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is keeping a track of reported coronavirus deaths and cases across Georgia, according to the Department of Public Health. Right now, the Georgia death toll is at 8,264. So whenever you hear, which is terrible news, but whenever you hear things like that, you just kind of ask yourself, where's the vaccine? I'm interested to know. You have a lot of people that are on the fence about whether or not they would take that vaccine. However, for those that would have taken it, out of that 8,264, we could have saved a lot of lives. So 42 states now sit in the COVID-19 red zone for cases as the viruses surge to new daily case highs and hospitalizations and deaths climb across the nation. Georgia is ranked 40th in the nation for new cases per 100,000 people and 30th for new positive tests. Isn't that something? So you'll hear me say throughout this segment, especially in reference to COVID-19, is to keep a mask on, keep one close by, and keep your distance. People will understand, definitely. Remember, it's not just about you, but it's about the people around you. In more COVID news, the Atlanta Public School Superintendent Lisa Herring has tested positive for COVID-19. Herring is currently quarantining. The district said she's also following the CDC guidelines, taking all necessary precautions, and hopes to make a full recovery, as do I. So as you can see, this thing is not a game. It does not care who it attaches itself to. And again, you just don't know how your body is going to respond to this COVID-19. So while we have some asymptomatic people out here that doesn't seem to have any symptoms of COVID, that's not the case for everybody. Again, earlier you heard me read that number of current deaths in Georgia at 8,264. So, I'm praying for a speedy recovery for the Atlanta Public School Superintendent, Lisa Herring. But in addition to that, COVID-19 forces a Fulton High School to go online early. Fulton County Schools has announced that North Springs High School will move classes online Monday and Tuesday because of a small COVID-19 outbreak. So as you can see, it does not care who it affects and where it affects. It's just out here and it's real. There were about 2 or 3 students and staff members that were confirmed to have the virus at the high school in Sandy Springs. So, and that's just, with this week. We don't know where it's going to be next week. So again, just be mindful, be aware. And like I said, not only be concerned about yourself catching it, but also potentially passing it to other people. So keep a distance, stay at home, and wear your mask, guys. On to other news. The Trump campaign presses for a quick recount in Georgia. So now this election, while we've recently had the news that Joe Biden was the president-elect, and while Georgia was a huge deal and has been a huge deal, and in January the 5th, all eyes will be on Georgia, it was Pennsylvania that actually pushed Biden over the edge. Yeah, Pennsylvania. But right now, President Trump's camp is trying to, is asking for an immediate recount of the election before results are finalized. Their letter to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger made several allegations of voting irregularities, but didn't prove any of the evidence. And also, when you think about it, not only are they trying to push for a quick recount in Georgia, they're also trying to get that man fired. So what I will say is, regardless on whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you felt like or you believe that there was something unfair happening in life or during the voting, you have every right to ask for a further investigation. However, until those things are proven, don't ask for nobody's job. Don't do anybody like that. But you know what? Hold it right there. We'll be right back with that and more on ATL Now, Next 100, Next 105. We'll be right back.
Atlanta's home for hip-hop and R&B. ATL's Next 100. Atlanta's home for hip-hop and R&B.
They got it going on.
Next 100.
My station.
ATL's Next 100.
Welcome back. For those of you just joining me, you're listening to ATL Now on Next 100, Next 105. And we were just talking about the Trump campaign pushing for a quick recount in Georgia, which I don't think is going to be anything quick about it. The article also goes on to say that the Georgia Republican Party and the Donald J. Trump for President campaign daily continues to receive hundreds of reports of voting discrepancies in areas statewide. According to the letter, millions of Georgians doubt the process for counting ballots in this state. Could that also be that for a long time this state was a red state, actually since 1992, and it's just very difficult for some Georgians to wrap their minds around the fact that currently it's a blue state and has the potential to remain that, especially if Ossoff and Warnock are able to gain those 2 additional Senate seats January the 5th. So, we'll see. And again, like I said, regardless of who you are, if you're under the impression that you've been done wrong, and there's a policy in place that states that you have every right to pursue a recount, and I would, wouldn't you? We're going to transition to our front row segment where we're talking sports and entertainment. And I want to kick it off with the Atlanta Falcons. You know, they've been able to pick up a couple of wins here lately. And now they go into the bye week. So questions are surrounding the questions that are surrounding the Falcons are, during this bye week, what should they be working on? Some fans would say offense, the offensive line, defense, defensive line, the defensive backs, special teams, coaching. Well, according to this article written by Matt Chambers, it's unfair to say, or is it fair to say, that wins or no wins, the Atlanta Falcons are not a finished product. They are too prone to giving up big leads and too capable of lackluster days on offense to think otherwise. And, you know, I'm a Falcons fan myself, and I'm watching the Falcons perform just like anybody else. And the thing that's glaring for a lot of the fans is we are not able to finish football games. We just are not able to finish football games. When Matt Ryan is having a great day throwing the ball, our receivers are having a tough time catching. When our receivers are catching the ball, Matt Ryan is having a tough time throwing. The offensive line, you know, it all depends on what side of the bed they wake up on. But lately, hats off to the Atlanta Falcons. Anything that we can get, despite the other professional teams we have here in the city, right now the Atlanta Falcons is kind of, you know, a big deal. So losing has really been a damper when it comes to the city of Atlanta. And I'm going to believe that they'll find a way to plan better and to play better, especially coming off of not only several losses, but then picking up a couple of wins. The Atlanta Falcons waived Takk McKinley. And what I would like to say in reference to that, while, you know, I don't know Takk personally, he did have some glimpses of promise. However, didn't produce enough for the team. So what I will say is I'm hoping that with Takk being waived, that he lands in a spot that allows him to showcase whatever he may have left, and that the Atlanta Falcons are able to move on, and that somebody is able to step up and fill that gap and produce in the way that the Falcons need to finish the second half of the season. But the article also goes to say the Falcons need to tighten up their game plan. Another week, another massive blown lead. Thanks in part to Drew Lock, the Falcons held on when the Broncos got aggressive and the Falcons got conservative, which is what we normally do. The Falcons started out dominant but struggled yet again when asked to manage the clock and hold on to the lead. And again, people, that has just been the identity of the Atlanta Falcons for the last couple of years, regardless on who's been at the head coaching position. For some reason, we get up on a team and we figure the game is over with. At least that's what the play on the field shows us. If the Atlanta Falcons, if the Super Bowl was determined in first halves, we'll probably have 15 of them. But you have 4 quarters. So again, I'm hoping that the Atlanta Falcons do what they need to do during this bye week to get better. I'm going to believe they'll be better. And as a matter of fact, they had better get better, because our next opponent is not only one of our biggest rivals, These guys are leading the NFC South, and that's the New Orleans Saints. So, Falcons, let's get it together. Georgia State bounces back in a 52-34 win over Louisiana Monroe Warhawks, who fell to 0-8 this season, while the Panthers improved to 3-3. Hadn't covered the Panthers a whole lot, but I am, glad that they've, figured out a way to pull out a win. I will cover Georgia State a lot more during this show. However, I just have not covered them as much, probably overshadowed by all the losing that the Atlanta Falcons had been doing earlier this year. However, I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to share the love because we do have other teams, college teams, and professional teams in the city that needs need the spotlight too. So I'm definitely going to do a better job at doing that. I also wanted to make note that the Atlanta Hawks currently have the number 6 pick in the NBA draft. And the NBA draft, if I'm not mistaken, is scheduled for November the 18th. And, with that, I'm also an Atlanta Hawks fan. I've attended plenty of games. And, just like with the Falcons, winning a few games here and there is okay. But the city is really looking for one of these organizations to really and truly turn the corner. Now, one of those organizations that were able to do that were unable to make the playoffs this year, were the Atlanta United. I was a founding member for the first 2 years, got a chance to see them win that first championship. And that's amazing, but those guys have only been here 3 or 4 years. So by them coming in and doing that, it just makes, the other organizations here look a little weird. Because these other organizations have been around a ton. And, it's just unacceptable at this particular point in time with some of the talent that we've had to come through this city for us to still be struggling as a city as much as we've struggled. With that said, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with entertainment. So keep it locked right here on ATL Now, Next 100, Next 105.
Hey, Stoops in the area. DJ Kimmel on the track. And guess what? We back again. Hey, I shine, you shine. I shine, you shine. Forever, ever, 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 forevermore. It was a mighty long time, but I really want to spend it with you. You know what? I shine when you shine. There's really no substitute. Forevermore. It was a mighty long time, but I really want to spend it with you. You know what? I shine when you shine. There's really no substitute. Forevermore. Take a picture. I want you to remember when I profess my love. Press the button. I hope it's your recording. Every word I'm saying to you, I'm telling you right now from this day on. Already weighed out the pros and cons. And you're just the woman I want. I want. Just to be with you. She will be made till the days I'm pleased. Baby, she love to say I do. Hey. Forevermore. It was a mighty long time, but I really want to spend it with you. You know what? I shine when you shine. There's really no substitute. Forevermore. It was a mighty long time, but I really want to spend it with you. You know what? I shine when you shine. There's really no substitute. Forevermore.
Pick a tree to carve our names. Let the world know it's not a game. Last longer than a wedding ring. Generations tattoo the love we bring. From the seeds we sow to the time it takes to grow. Long enough to show you I won't let go of you.
Without you, I'm incomplete. Like this love song without this beat. I'm saying that you are the man I need. Making my plans just to be with you. Be with you. Till the day
#1 station
for hip hop and R&B.
Going to class, dozing off, waking up, never learning the lessons. But thanks to my faith and blessings, struggles pass and I go about life without half the stressing. I know who got my back, no need for raising the question. Cause when times get hard, it's to my brothers I call, taking the weight, no matter large or small. I smile every day, thanks to y'all, we gonna eat for real. Ease the mind so we can sleep for real. It took longer than we wish, but the blow, man, I knew we could. Find the best way to live life, it's so right, we jail tight. Ain't no strip stopping our move, we one nation, all under a groove. Send a piece to that cat nigga, then we gonna meet real soon. I'm so happy. Good music in my life, it makes me happy. We doing this for y'all, check it. We doing this for y'all. Come on. People, good love, good music in my life, it makes me happy.
Hey, yo, we running it now. So, showing us how we doing it. It's going out to my man's big poop in it. It's like this, and this is how we ripping it. Shouts out to my man named Infinite. And it's just the way we got to begin with it. It's going out to my man for 10 in it. And it's just the way we got to keep it on. For my man Big Joe and Sean. Let's get it going, y'all.
Good music in
Justice League to the world, baby. Yo, we keep it going on. Yo, we keep it going on. Like this.
good music in my life, it makes me happy.
Hey, yo, it's like this. On the league to the world.
Good music in my life, it makes me happy.
So fly with it, taking y'all on the high with it, feel it, come
Good
on.
people, good loving, good music in my life, it makes me.
You wanna know what I'm feeling for real?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. That was Happy with Foreign Exchange. For those of you just tuning in, you're listening to ATL Now, Next 100, Next 105. We just finished talking sports in the front row segment. We're going to move over to entertainment. And the It's Complicated podcast reports that Georgia's film industry is set to roar back, which I'm sure the city of Atlanta and Georgia is happy to hear. However, I mentioned a few shows ago that it seemed like Netflix never stopped producing shows. I mean, as soon as the pandemic hit, they had like 4 or 5 new movies about the pandemic. And ever since then, they've been pumping out new movies. So they must have shot these 2 or 3 years ago. Because I'm like, hey, man, Netflix has been a beast and has definitely been a blessing during the pandemic. I think they, when the pandemic happened, they've taken the term Netflix and chill to a whole new height. So, but with that being said, you have started to see a lot of signs and things around the city. A lot of production trucks are starting to come back out, especially in my neighborhood. They do a lot of movie shoots in Southwest Atlanta, actually all over the city and all over Georgia. But however, the It's Complicated podcast said that Lee Thomas, Deputy Commissioner of the Georgia Film, Music, and Digital Entertainment Office, we have a lot of shows in the pipeline. And we have shows that are set to start production. At about 45 projects in the works, the numbers lag behind where the industry was this time last year, which is understandable. I mean, the pandemic has really thrown everything off. Even right now, with people still traveling to the city of Atlanta and Georgia, they seem to believe that everything is back to normal here. And I'm here to say that's just not the case. And after being here a couple of days, you realize it, but definitely Atlantans and Georgians understand that all too well. But the article also goes on to say that by 2021, we'll be busy. Well, Georgia will be one of the busiest from producing movies in the entertainment industry. And I definitely believe that. In 2019, Georgia had 1.1 million square feet of purpose-built soundstage space and 2.1 million square feet of retrofitted soundstage space. That does not include the supply of warehouses that are consistently used to film television, movies, and music videos. So like I say again, it's very hard, especially before COVID hit. It was very hard to move about the city and not see production trucks. A lot of times people were under the impression that it was construction happening in their neighborhoods. And that was not the case. It was somebody shooting a movie. And in most cases, those were some very huge movies that turned an amazing profit for Georgia. And a lot of them were blockbuster hits. So Georgia has continued to be a melting pot for movies and actors. There's people that move here every day looking for an opportunity in either music or movies. So there's definitely a lot of that going on here in the city. I'm happy that Georgia is looked at as one of the top spots for movies and television, and to hear that it's roaring back. I'm not surprised of that. With Tyler Perry Studios and a few other studios here that are being heavily used. I had the opportunity to partake in a few shows, some you may be familiar with, and one being P-Valley, and the other one being American Soul. So I was an extra in both of those. Yeah, I did my thing. I stood still, didn't cause any problems. Where's my academy? On to other news. Atlanta, the show Atlanta, starring Donald Glover, is currently awaiting the start of production for its 3rd season. However, it's already been picked up for a 4th season. Hollywood star Donald Glover says the next 2 seasons of this critically acclaimed series, Atlanta, will exceed the expectation of fans. And I mean, this guy has pumped out, he's pumped out some amazing work musically and on television. So I don't see why we shouldn't expect exactly what he's asking us to expect. The comedy drama series starring Glover in the lead is currently awaiting the start of production on its third season. FX Network has already renewed the show for the fourth season. Both seasons will have 8 episodes each, so those are fairly short. However, if you're a fan of anything, right, then 8 shows is fine with me. 2 episodes I would be okay with. You just want to start seeing something new. You want to see your favorite actors and actresses do their thing. And you just definitely want to see the TV show and movies continue to roar back. But Donald Glover is a very talented guy. I mean, it's not many that's able to transition from movies and television to music and do both very well. And also comedy. He has a comedy stand-up series or stand-up special. He has several hits, and he has several movies and television shows that are doing great. So he's in a great space, and he also represents Georgia and spends a lot of time between Atlanta and California. So again, that's hats off to Donald Glover on one, not only having the third season being picked up, but also a fourth. So again, that's really, really good news. And I'm sure that we all look forward to seeing season 3 and season 4. I wish they would just push them all out at one time. That way we didn't have to wait every week to see another episode. However, there's a lot more great shows out there that you can watch. Sometimes you have to search for them, but sometimes these other streaming services will definitely let you know what's new, what's hot, what's trending. So check out some of those other shows and definitely support. Like I say again, we're supposed to be in the house anyway, right? We're supposed to be taking a breather, playing it safe, and not only protecting ourselves but others. So what better way to do it? I'm not just saying watch TV all the time. You can also read a book. Have a small front porch gathering with some social distance with friends and family. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like a good show, a good movie, where you have several episodes you can just binge watch. I can be a binge watcher sometimes. And when the show is good, a lot of times you don't know what time it is. You can start binge watching the show that afternoon, and it's late evening by the time you finish, right? But what I will say is, when you watch it that fast, it's very hard to wait on next season. Yeah, Ozark was one of the latest shows that I checked out. I'm a fan of that show. But I watched all of the episodes in like 2 days. And as a result, I'm left wanting more. And maybe they put out when the next season is coming out. However, I have not seen it. But I'm definitely anticipating that show. Also on Netflix, Girlfriend fan. If you're a Girlfriend fan, that show is now has been picked up by Netflix, and a lot of people are excited about that. I'm definitely a fan. I don't know if I've ever watched the season in its entirety. However, now that it's on Netflix, I can watch it whenever I want. So, again, the movie industry is roaring back, according to It's Complicated podcast. So you can look for production trucks and signs near you. Definitely. And keep your eye out for season 3 and season 4 of Atlanta, starring Donald Glover. I'm pretty sure that'll be coming sooner than later. Maybe they already have some episodes in the pipeline. Sometimes, they act like they don't have any have anything for us, and then out the blue, they wind up giving us a ton of things to watch, a ton of things to talk about. I'm hoping that's the case. You know, when it's something that I like, I'm always hoping that, you know, they're just teasing us, but they actually already have the content waiting. Well, I'm hoping that that's the case for this show. But speaking of acting, with all these shows being produced and all these casting companies here in the city, or that's operating in the city while they may be, housed in New York or LA, are you guys taking advantage of it? Because there seems to be a lot of work happening here in the city of Atlanta. And not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well. I had the opportunity to do some extra work in those 2 shows I mentioned earlier. There was plenty of work going on behind the scene. Some pretty attractive work happening behind the scene, from makeup to folks doing the wigs, folks cooking the food. So, I mean, there's plenty of work. And as I mentioned earlier, with 45 shows being in the pipeline, that's a lot of work. So, hey guys, do your research, reach out and network, and go ahead and get busy. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with ATL Now, Next 100, Next 105.
Powered by IBNXRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to ATL Now, Next 100, Next 105. I'm your host, Jay Lewis. I'm going to transition into our Peach Tea segment where we talk of restaurants and bars in and around the city of Atlanta. And let's talk dining pods. They could help Atlanta restaurants fill out outdoor tables this winter. The Center for Disease Control advises against public meals in enclosed spaces. Still, some establishments that have set up ample al fresco seating are seeing sales figures close to or even exceeding normal levels. So I had to look that up when I saw dining pods, right? And I thought it was interesting because, people love going out here in the city of Atlanta and around Georgia, period. So when I started thinking about that, if it's a safer way for me to go out and socialize, why not? So I looked up these dining pods, and they look like a half of a circle. It looks plastic, but half of a circle. I don't know what the ventilation is with these pods, but it looks like they can enclose you and your guests to separate you from other guests, which is cool. I would love to know, could they possibly be trapping like a COVID cloud under your pod? However, Guy Wong, who is the owner of Ruby Chow's, is trying out a more intimate solution at his old Fourth Ward spot. The restaurant has set up what looks like space-age dining pods. On the Ruby Chow's patio, metal heaters will be placed among the pods, each of which houses a single four-top table to warm them up. So again, that sounds very interesting. I don't know about heaters next to the pods that I'm seeing. I don't know how that would work out, but it would be interesting to see if restaurants here in Atlanta or other restaurants here in Atlanta would pick that up and give that a try. I would be willing to try it, but I don't like to be first when it comes to things like that. When it comes to Ferris wheels or roller coasters, I don't like to be first on those. Let somebody else go a few times, make sure it's safe, and then I'll take a chance. So, but that's something to look forward to or look out for if you're interested in dining out in the city of Atlanta. For the sake of time, we're going to transition into our last segment, which is ATL's Own, where we talk business and community. I just wanted to highlight that the Atlanta HBCUs gets a joint gift from Beyonce and Peloton. Atlanta college students have a little more incentive to work out and shed those pandemic pounds. Singer and actress Beyonce and the interactive fitness platform Peloton are offering 2-year gift memberships to enroll students, faculty, and alumni of Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse College, Morehouse School of Medicine, and Spelman. Peloton and this is from Beyonce, Peloton and I both believe that the power of music can help uplift, motivate, and inspire those on their fitness journeys, said Beyonce, who is the most requested artist among Peloton's 3.6 million members. So congratulations to Peloton and Beyonce doing that, and definitely congratulations to Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman College. So I think that'll be amazing. I think that'll be great. Actually, I wish they offered that to the whole city of Atlanta. I can definitely use our free membership. But with that being said, we've reached the end of this show. I've definitely enjoyed this time with you. Where did the time go? I guess, when you're having a great conversation and you're talking to a bunch of great people, time definitely flies. But Atlanta, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. See you soon. Be safe.
You're my baby, my lover, my lady. All night you make me want you. It drives me crazy. I feel like you for me, babe. Tell me if you feel the same way, 'cause it just feels so right. I don't wanna waste no time. If I had to choose, I know I'm gonna always choose to be with you. 'Cause girl, don't you know?
Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side.
When you're not here, you don't know how much I miss you. The whole time on my mind is how much I'm gonna get to make you feel so good, like you know I could. Tell me if you feel the same way, 'cause it just feels so right. I don't wanna waste no time. Girl, if I had to choose, I know I'm gonna always choose to be with you. Girl, don't you know?
Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful?
Yeah, babe.
I wanna give all
my love to you, girl.
not just tonight, but the rest of your life.
Your life.
I wanna be
Always here by your side.
Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my
love to you, girl.
the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. Baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, don't you know? Baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, baby, don't you know you're so beautiful?
Check it out, check it out.
ATL's Next 100.
Jumping in
Next 100.
Right.